Being the kind of craftsman I am, I'm never just satisfied with one project, but multiples, and usually multiples that kind of tie into each other. So everyone's seen these goofy fucking shoulder straps or extra straps over my shoulders in my leather jacket. What they're designed to hold is this when it's rolled up. And what this is, and more to the point what it was a set of Zeltbahn military quarter shelters from Austria. Our friend Dmitry Zaitsev will probably recognize him. Actually, I've probably seen him a lot over in Europe. I haven't worked on this thing in about a year, give or take. And I originally had two of these just tied together for the bunching to turn this shelter piece into a cloak, essentially a camouflage cloak that's hopefully soon to be, again, waterproof. The problem is, the idea was to have a cloak that I could also set up as an emergency shelter. Once again, reinforcing my need to make everything practical as well as have a story, fictional and or otherwise. The problem was that once I cut the thread, like I did when I separated these two, because there was two of these on here, there was no way to reattach. So, using some old metacarpal bones, you know what fucking animal this is. I've had them for years, decades actually. These are obviously antler buttons I've cored out for the nice hard outer bone ring, but I'm replacing this with a probably a jute fiber loop to lock onto this, so it can actually be assembled and disassembled as need dictates. And then reinforcing the lip of the hood so that it actually doesn't, just blind me when I'm trying to walk. Here's the capot that I'm also working on. Ran into a kind of a speed bump on the collar and mantle that I still have yet to try and decipher what the fuck happened. And I can finish working that. The good news is I don't need a winter coat just yet because, well, it's 93 fucking degrees outside. But anyway, yeah. Winter coat, leather jacket, Apocalyptic, and one of the two rolls going in the back of the jacket with all the straps have been presently unoccupied for quite a while. What I did here, so this is gonna be a long video. Fuck. Almost every other military shelter piece setup has been set up on a pup tent basis. Pull in front and pull in back. Each soldier carried basically half of a pup tent. The Austrians, they did it differently. Austrians and Germans, and even Swedes, actually, I've seen their versions and owned their versions as well. Excuse me, been a long day. Anyway, these, like in the Swedish case, would be triangles that you button 4 of them or even 3 of them together for a communal shelter with a center pole. The Swedish ones are triangles. These ones are more trapezoids. They're a triangle with a peaked bottom. And what I've done, since I stopped using these as a tent on a regular basis, I've used them for 10 years actually. Got them for dirt cheap in an army surplus store and beat the shit out of them for 10 years. But they weren't holding up too well as a reliable, daily shelter anymore. And so I sewed 2 of them together. That took about a month because, damn, that was a lot of sewing. And I have a third one. The fourth was cut into spare pieces for making the hood and whatnot. But the third one, I'm going to make it so it can button back in to the edges here. This is the reverse, I guess they call it a high desert rain pattern. Whatever the fuck that means. Anyway. I've always been fond of the brown base forest pattern though. But anyway. So the theory is that I can still use this as a 3-sided shelter with a fire in the front. Take down the shelter, and if needed, if it's still raining, I can wear it as a cloak. Of course, it means I gotta retreat the canvas, but whatever. But yeah, this is a little spotlight in my madness. Well, for the day. I don't know what the fuck I'm gonna do tomorrow. Maybe more of this. Maybe work on the coat. Or maybe just pretend I'm shooting things by playing video games. I don't know. Fuck, we'll see. At any rate, this has gone on over 5 minutes, and that's fucking long enough for me. Bye bye.